Man, how times have changed. We have gone from the craziest of crazy seller markets where I talk with real estate agents like Beth Traverso, and people are paying 100,000, 200,000, even 500,000 over list price. That is bananas. To a conversation I just had with Adrian Hernandez in the Orange County market. It is a disaster in the luxury market. His words, not mine. Boy, times have changed. And now we've got Matt, the mortgage guy, talking about a buyer's market. You and I have been doing investing for a long time, and buyers and sellers markets don't last forever. And I think it's certainly in luxury, according to Adrian. I think in move up and maybe even in first time buyers in submarkets like Sacramento, we have a buyer's market. It won't last forever, but it's definitely fun when you're in it. So let's talk about buyer's markets.
Yeah, this is something that I've been thinking about. We looked at our our business come the first of the year, and some of it I go by feel, and some of it I actually look at the data. But we've got 111 pre-approved buyers at some stage. Gave up, still offering, waiting 2 months, whatever the case may be. 111 that pre-approved that could write an offer today, and I saw a bunch of action at the beginning of the year. Whether it's my New Year's resolution, I really want to buy, like the new year is a new start for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. And it got me thinking, some of these deals we wrote in November and December, where the seller was really willing to give up whatever. You need 15,000 in credit, you got it. You want it 15,000 below what we listed it at, and you want 20,000 in credit, no problem. Some of these offers, Mike, that were written in this last week, the first few days of 2023, I thought were really strong offers. And I was surprised when the seller goes, unfortunately, we didn't pick your offer. And it got me thinking to where, like, it's not the new norm, but, great houses in great neighborhoods with limited inventory. Sacramento's soft. It's been a buyer's market, in my opinion, because I'm working in it. And if already in this market, buyers don't have quite the negotiating power they had.
Yeah.
If rates come down, that increases demand. It's going to be
marginal
harder.
buyers come back. Yeah.
And for us, like I've been really trying to lean into buyers and say, get with us so that we can help you structure the very best loan. And with seller credit and all the things we're able to get right now and negotiate those things, it's fun to be in my seat, because then I get to say,
you're always helping the buyers. You're always on the buy side.
Don't take a 6 1/4. We're gonna buy down to 599. That's relatively inexpensive, and then we're gonna use some of the seller credit to actually buy down the first couple of years to 399 and 499. If you refinance later, you're gonna get this back, some of the seller credit, and so it's one of those things where you just don't want to take it for granted. And I know, because I'm a numbers geek, that you might pay $425 with all these concessions and structure a really good looking mortgage that is light years better than $425 or even $410 in the future without these types of concessions. So
I think it's going to be really interesting, because again, I've talked about March 15th, frankly, since September 15th, right? I've called that the beginning of what will be phase 3. In my 12 housing market predictions, which I released yesterday morning, I actually think the spring selling season is going to land like a thud. So what do I mean by that? I think there was a time where I thought inventory was going to come flying on the market and it would continue to be an amazing buyer's market. I now believe that's not going to happen. I believe there's a lot of people that have supply lock-in or interest rate lock-in. They're just not going to sell. Also, I believe when people are afraid, they don't move, right? They're going to just retreat. They're going to stay in their location. Now, there will be exceptions. Phoenix is a disaster. Vegas is a disaster. But the country, not so much. So I think it's going to be really interesting, because we get to the spring selling season and we are running at these inventory levels and rates come back a quarter point, we're below 6. I think you're going to be shocked that the buyer's market is over and maybe we have a balanced market. I am not calling for crazy appreciation. I think we had the decade of appreciation in 2 years. I think the year is boring. It's flat. And I think a lot of it is going to depend on March 15th. Does inventory come on? Because if it doesn't show up, and rates come down, I think the buyer's market's for the most part gone, unless you're in luxury. I think the luxury market will be on sale all year.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And that's where, I generally play in the pond of, first time buyers, entry level buyers, and investors. And that stuff, they're moving more than anybody, and they're looking for stuff more than anybody. And so when there's limited supply, there's only so much leverage you can have as a buyer when there's only so much product out there.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is people are going to come around March 15th, April 15th. They're going to go to open houses and they're going to be shocked at how few choices they have. It's going to be an inventory story. I don't think it will be a time where you have to go crazy over. In fact, I hope it is not. I don't want that market to come back. It's not healthy. But I think choices are just going to be limited. And if rates come down, more marginal buyers come back. The buyer's market may not last all year if you're at the first time home buyer level. I'm not sure.
Yeah, what's funny? This just crossed my mind. I remember us talking about all this money on the sidelines, and this is probably a year-old conversation about how it kind of creates a floor to where if things go on sale 5 or 10%, we've got people waiting, whether that's investors, whether that's, a hedge fund. In my case, it's 111 pre-approved buyers saying when inventory comes, or if there's a price that I like, I'm going to move. Right. Yeah. And so like, these are the things that when people talk about some crazy depreciation, I'm like, there's a floor. There's a floor.
Even Ivy Zelman is out saying there's $110 billion in private equity or, basically Wall Street money ready to pounce. So it's this crazy 35% crash isn't coming. Now, there will be some amazing deal. I do think there's one thing that's kind of crazy that'll probably drive people nuts. I think if you're playing in the luxury space, there are going to be properties that sell for $1 million less than list price. But that doesn't impact median home price. It's still a stupid number. But there are going to be some luxury properties that are sold for a steal. Adrian, who just told me Orange County is a disaster. There's a street where 2 doors down, there's a comp at 2.8 million. This seller 2 doors down had to sell. No other buyers. They took an offer at 2.1.
Wow.
That's now going to be a new comp for that area. Wow. So again, sometimes people have to sell.
Yeah. This is kind of, sidetracking, but did you ever, I know you were looking for some sort of seller financing, something in the jumbo space.
I'm getting very aggressive. Yes. Yeah, my team is being because I'll take I'm calling it Park Place and Boardwalk. I'm going to get a seller finance deal in Fresno for a crazy rental property.
Yeah.
And I will celebrate when that happens.
You know what I saw? I don't know who this was. I was watching some YouTube stuff yesterday. 1.2 million, gave the seller her price, 50 years at 0% interest.
Pace Morby, I think, did.
Was it Pace? Okay.
I think
I wasn't sure if it was Pace or something, but I'm like, that's $2,000 a month.
Yeah, done.
Yeah. I mean, I love me some cheap debt, and 0% is about as cheap as you get.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think again, it's sometimes people got to sell. You're the only buyer in town. Give them their price, get your terms, win-win. So I think that's coming. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and get pre-approved, because again, the lending market's changing like we did in video 1, buyer's market won't be around forever, especially in the first time entry. How should they reach out?
Go to greatmortgagebroker.com, fill out the quick and easy form, and we'll be in touch no matter where you're at in the country. We're here to help.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.